Welcome to Ghouls Night Out with your hostesses, Brandy and Jody. Welcome, beautiful ghouls. This is Brandy. I am here with my sister, Jody.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you so much for listening. So I wanted to bring up a story that I saw in the news this week. There is a mystery animal that has been found in Florida.
Really?
Yes, it is it was found under a car, and it's in the care of a vet receiving extra care. It reminds them of a hairless raccoon.
Ew.
And here's a picture.
Aw, it's cute.
I know.
It looks almost like a kangaroo.
Yeah, and and I'll post these pictures on Facebook. Here's a better picture of it.
Huh.
But this animal has been found in Florida, and they're just kind of taking care of it right now, but they're waiting for positive results from the costly tests that they're running. She's a very sweet girl, apparently, and they just don't know what she is. So I thought that was very interesting. I know.
It's so strange to me that there's still animals out there that you have no idea what they are.
Exactly. And there's probably a ton of animals that they don't know what they are, just roaming around out there. Who knows?
That's just crazy to me.
I know. So they found one in Florida, and who knows where she came from. They just found her under a car.
She's cute, though.
I know. So, like I said, I'll try and post a picture of that on Facebook. So you guys can see what we're talking about. Other than that was the only news story. And like I told you, I've been in such a better mood since I haven't been reading the news.
That has been my philosophy since I was young. I do not watch the news.
No, you can't. It's all horrible.
All depressing.
Yes.
And, there's enough of that in our lives to begin with.
Exactly.
You don't need to read about or hear about other people's depressing shit.
And all the people that have been shot in the city that you live in.
Yeah, I don't, you know what? I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
You can't care because other than making you depressed, it's not going to do anything for you.
You know what, though? It doesn't matter how much I do not watch the news. There's always a friend that's like, did you see what was on the news the other day?
It's fucking horrible.
No, and I don't want to know about it. Thank you very much.
But like I said, I've been staying away from it, but I came across that and I'm like, interesting. I will say that on the podcast because new animal, that's kind of awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
So other than that, I have a bunch of fun facts.
Yay!
So my first one is bolts of lightning can shoot out of an erupting volcano.
Huh.
Which that is insane to me because, bolts of lightning are like a ton of concentrated electricity.
Yeah.
So the fact that can erupt from an erupting volcano, that's crazy. That's like way intense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my next one is New York drifts about 1 inch farther away from London each year.
Huh?
New York drifts about 1 inch farther from London each year.
How does that happen?
Well, I think it's like global warming and the amount of water melting.
Oh, it's taken away from
California. Yes.
Or no, you said
New York. I said New York.
I don't do geography.
It's on the other side of the continent.
Shut up.
Okay. Next one. A U.S. dollar bill can be folded. And this one I don't get. So if you can explain this to me, that would be awesome. A U.S. dollar bill can be folded approximately 4,000 times in the same place before it will tear. That does not make sense to me at all. I don't know if I'm just stupid or what's going on, but...
What?
Yeah. I've read this like 40 times and I still can't make sense of it. A U.S. dollar bill can be folded approximately 4,000 times in the same place before it will tear. I don't know if they did I don't know if they messed up on that sentence.
I don't know.
That makes no sense to me at all.
No. How do you
Okay.
fold something in the same place?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm moving on, though, because we can probably spend hours on
let's
that.
move on.
A sneeze travels 100 miles per hour, which that comes out of your body. That is insane. 100 miles per hour. 100 miles per hour. That's crazy. Okay, next one. Earth has traveled more than 5,000 miles in the past 5 minutes.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Next one, it would take a sloth 1 month to travel 1 mile. 1 month? It's crazy.
I thought I was bad. Dang.
Oh, they're just slow moving. They're very cute, though.
Yes, they are.
10% of the world's population is left-handed.
I can believe that.
My mother-in-law
Speaking
is
of
left-handed.
sloths, I watched all the oddities, the season 5 oddities.
yeah.
And they made a shrunken head out of the
Yes.
sloth.
I told you they did.
I don't remember that.
Oh.
But they did.
Yeah, because I think the sloth head is like the most common
Yeah.
to humans. Is that what he said?
Yeah, but it did not look like a human
No, not at all.
at all.
It looked like a sloth head.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was the process that they were talking
Yeah.
about, which like is the same as a human.
Yeah, I love that show.
Me too. It's great. If you guys haven't looked it up, look it up. A broken clock is right 2 times every day. I think we all knew that. According to Amazon, the most highlighted books on Kindle are the Bible, the Steve Jobs biography, and the Hunger Games.
Okay. Why do people highlight books?
Oh, I don't know.
I understand like textbooks, like if you're studying for a test or something. But
Yeah, that's
like on my Kindle, you know, I have the option to highlight. But why?
The Hunger Games? Why would you highlight shit from the Hunger
Why would you
Hunger
highlight
Games?
anything? I don't get it.
I'm not sure. People are weird, though. We've determined that. People are totally weird.
Yeah.
That includes everybody listening and everybody recording.
Okay.
Bob Marley's last words to his son before he died were, "Money can't buy love."
Okay.
A mole can dig a tunnel that is 300 feet long in only 1 night.
Wow.
That is insane. 300 feet in 1 night.
Fucking moles.
I know. Right? Nuisance. A hippo's wide open mouth is big enough to fit a 4-foot child in.
Oh, well.
That is crazy.
That's not. I don't want to see that.
No. But 4 feet. That thing can open its mouth 4 feet wide.
Well, hippos are like the most dangerous.
They're fucking
animal.
aggressive.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're crazy dangerous. Chewing gum while you cut an onion will help you from crying.
Okay.
If you were to stretch a slinky out until it's flat, it would measure 87 feet long. That's pretty long.
Okay.
Al Capone's business card said he was a used furniture dealer.
Liar.
Liar! There are more collect calls on Father's Day than any other day of the year.
How rude.
I know, right? I'll call you, but you have to pay for it. Okay, this might help with our weight loss.
Oh.
Banging your head against the wall burns 150 calories in an hour.
I'll just stay fat, thank you. I'd rather be fat than brain damaged.
It only takes an hour to burn 150 calories.
How? Okay. Who did that
I
study?
know. I want to know that too. I want to know who did it.
Because they are vegetables now.
Bang their head against
Man,
the
they
wall for
look
an hour.
good. I'm brain
Skinny as fuck.
Oh my god, these are so stupid.
Oh my gosh. Okay, next one. 95% of people text things they could never say in person.
I believe that.
I believe that too. Next one. A crocodile cannot poke its tongue out. Which that's interesting. It's physically impossible for pigs to look up into the sky.
Aw, poor piggies.
I know. They can only see the mud. And last fun fact, Guinness Book of Records holds the record for being the book most often stolen from public libraries. Okay, the next few I have are nutrition facts.
Cool. I like these.
Okay, drying fruit depletes it of 30 to 80% of its vitamins and antioxidant content.
So those are not good for you.
No, dried fruit is not good. Next one, a 2010 study found that 48% of soda fountain contained fecal bacteria.
Ew!
And 11% contained E. coli.
Oh, that's great.
So guys, stop going to the gas station and getting
Yeah.
fountain drinks.
Luckily,
It's not good.
I don't do that.
I don't either. Because, ew.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. 9 out of 10 Americans are deficient in potassium. So eat your bananas, kids.
I don't eat many bananas.
I don't like them.
I like bananas.
I don't like
I
bananas.
just don't.
I force myself to eat them every now and then.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't like them.
I like them in vanilla ice cream with chocolate syrup.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, blueberries are not ripened until they are picked.
Huh?
Blueberries will not ripen until they are picked.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. About 150 people per year are killed by coconuts.
What? What, by falling on their head or
Yeah, I would assume that's what I would assume. Ketchup was used as a medicine back in the 1930s.
Ketchup?
Yeah. They used to use coffee as medicine, like back in the day. Did you know that?
Coffee is medicine.
It is. It will treat anything. Coffee
Coffee's
is amazing.
amazing.
Love it.
I had Starbucks today.
I saw, and Taryn saw, and she pointed that out as soon as we came over.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jody had Starbucks without me.
It was good too.
I love Starbucks. Sorry, but I love it. I get the same thing every time, but it's so good. Okay, next one. Honey never spoils.
Oh, that's good to know.
Well, I don't believe that.
Oh.
Because honey will crystallize.
Yeah. But
And-
can't you like heat it up and it
I'm
turns back into
sure-
honey?
I'm sure you can.
I think you can.
So maybe that's what they mean. Like you can still heat it up.
yeah.
And it'll-
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So they're not lying. Next one. About half of all Americans are on a diet at any given day.
I believe that.
I believe that as well. Half of Americans.
Yeah.
That is a shit ton.
Do you know how many people are considered obese?
Well, yeah.
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Americans. And all of them are trying to lose weight all the time. Which that is very disheartening. Like that sucks.
We've got too much food.
We have, well, okay, so we are like the only country that has an obese problem and a hunger problem at the same time.
Yeah.
We have an obese problem and a hunger problem at the same time. It's fucked up.
Yes, it is.
Okay, next one. A hard-boiled egg will spin, but a soft-boiled egg will not. So if you turn it, if you spin it, like if you're trying to boil eggs and you spin it on the counter after they're done, a hard boil, like if it's done, it will spin. If it's not done, it won't. So that's how you can tell.
Okay.
Avocados are poisonous to birds.
Oh,
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
that is crazy.
Chewing gum burns about 11 calories per hour. That's very interesting.
Maybe I should start chewing more gum.
Or I've heard chewing on celery it takes more calories to chew celery than it has in it.
Because celery is like nothing.
Yeah.
So like lettuce. Lettuce is nothing.
Right. So if you chew those, like,
it'll you're burning more calories than your...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Next one, the number of animals killed for meat every hour in the U.S. is 500,000.
Wow.
That is insane. That's so sad. I don't eat meat. Thank God.
It's not sad. They are made for meat.
No.
Yes, they are.
It's sad.
No, it's not.
They're living, breathing.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. If you try to suppress a sneeze, you will rupture a blood vessel in your head or neck, and die.
What?
Don't suppress a sneeze, people.
I have done that so many times, and I am not dead.
You are one of the lucky ones. Oh my God.
I must have superpowers.
Listen to this one. Next one is celery has negative calories.
Oh, cool.
It takes more calories to eat a piece of celery than the celery has in it to begin with.
What if you dip it in ranch dressing?
That is not good. That has total calories in it.
Well.
Same with apples. So it takes more calories to eat an apple or celery than it does,
unless you dip the apple in caramel.
And yeah, no caramel, no ranch dip on these.
And I wonder why I'm fat.
Okay. Next one. More people are allergic to cow's milk than any other food. Huh.
I thought that would be peanuts.
Yeah. That's like lactose intolerant. Isn't that what they would call that?
Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
That's very interesting. And that's actually interesting because milk has always made me feel like crap. If I drink it, especially in the morning for some reason.
I've never had a problem with milk.
Next one, only 8% of dieters will follow a restrictive weight loss plan. 8%.
Well, yeah, because
It's hard.
yeah.
And my last one, nutrition fact. Coconut water can be used as blood plasma.
Really?
That is
Coconut water is disgusting.
Is it? I've never tried it.
Ugh. It's so gross.
Does it taste like coconut?
No.
Oh,
No, it does not. It's nasty.
I've never tried it.
It's gross.
So those were my fun facts for the week
Okay.
and my one news story that I came across.
All right. I did creepiest last words for my stories.
These are awesome.
So, the first one, my mom was watching over my great-grandfather in the hospital. He'd been unresponsive for a day or so when suddenly he said, it's about damn time you got here. I've been waiting. And then he died.
Shut up!
No.
Oh my God. And I always wonder, and none of us are going to know until we're at that second. But, what the fuck was he seeing?
I know.
What the fuck was he thinking? Oh my God.
That's weird.
I know.
Okay, the second one is I'm a nurse and was previously working at an assisted living community in the dementia Alzheimer's unit. My very favorite patient had been declining pretty steadily, so I was checking on him frequently. We would have long chats and joke around with each other, but in the last 2 weeks of his life, he stopped talking completely and didn't really acknowledge conversation directed at him at all.
Oh my God.
I finished my medication rounds for the evening and went to see him before I left. I told him I was leaving for the night and that I'd see him the following day. And he looked at me in the eyes and smiled so genuinely and said, "You look like an angel." I thought it was so sweet because he had not seemed lucid in weeks. He died the next morning. It really messed with me.
Oh my God.
Number 3, backstory. Dad had MS. He'd had it since he was 18. Diagnosed at 20, married my mom at 24, and had me at 29. died 15 days short of 45. 6 months before that, he was put in hospice. He and Mom were discussing funeral arrangements, and my mom jokingly said, "You know, Tim, the best thing you could do would be to die on a Wednesday. That way we can have the body prepared on Thursday, the viewing on Friday, and the memorial on Saturday, and so more people could come." The morning we got the call that it was time, my mom, 2 sisters, and I were about 5 minutes too late. After we said our goodbyes, the nurse pulled my mom aside and asked if that day had any significance. It's not even 6 a.m. yet, so Mom doesn't even know what day it is, much less if it's important. The nurse tells her it's May 21st. No, nothing is coming to mind. The nurse told her that the previous day he kept asking what day it was, and that they'd tell him it was the 20th. He'd look irritated but accepted it. That morning he asked what day it was, and they said it's Wednesday, May 21st. He smiled, squeezed his favorite nurse's hand, and was gone almost immediately.
Oh my God.
It was Memorial Day weekend, and we did just as he and Mom had planned, and despite many friends being out of town for the holiday, we had over 250 people show up at the memorial service, overflowing the tiny church more than it had ever been filled. To his dying day, he was trying to make things easier for our family. I miss him.
Aw. Oh my gosh.
I've heard about people that have, like, they'll wait until, like, the person isn't there anymore. Like, if someone's in the hospital and they're going to die, they'll wait until, like, a certain person, like, if they know they can't handle it, they'll wait until they leave to, like, go home and take a shower or eat or whatever, and then that's when they'll die. They'll wait until
Oh my gosh.
they think it's, you know, the best time for someone else before they go.
That's sad.
I know. Number 4. I overheard an old lady whisper this to her husband, dying of kidney problems. "You are going to beat this. You got away with murder. This is nothing." Yeah.
What the fuck?
That crazy.
Oh my God.
Number 5.
You got away with murder. Oh my God.
Do you know how many people in this world have probably got away with murder?
Oh my God, that's scary.
A lot.
That is scary.
Number 5. But I don't know how to get there. Grandpa in hospice. He hadn't spoken in days. Died about 2 hours later.
But I don't know how to
where?
get there. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Number 6. I work in a cardiac ICU. We had a patient who had pulmonary artery rupture, a rare but known complication of a Swan-Ganz catheter. I don't know what that is. One minute he was joking around with us, the next bright red blood was spewing out of his mouth. His last words before he died were, "Why is this happening to me? It still haunts me years later."
Oh shit. Oh,
That's so scary.
I know. It's like the worst way. Just confused and
Yeah, I don't
scared
know what's
and
going on.
vocal about it. No. It's horrible.
Number 7. I'm an RT and had a vented track patient in angio. I walked up to her and saw bright red blood just start shooting up the vent circuit and immediately obstruct it. I immediately said, "She's hemorrhaging," and the vascular surgeon said, "No, it's just a little blood," thinking I was referring to his access site in her groin. I popped her off the vent and blood just started pouring out of her track, mouth, and nose. She looked at me and said, "Just let me die." The puddle of blood was about 6 feet in diameter on the floor within just a couple of minutes, and I was covered from the chest down. I've seen some stuff, but that was the worst.
Oh my God.
I could not
No.
work in a hospital.
God bless these
I
people.
could not do it.
I know. Me neither.
Number 8. My grandma died in 1989. My grandfather, Bob, died around 1965. She never remarried, never dated, but she did have a great life. When she was dying, she yelled, "Bob, Bob, here I come. Oh, honey, I've missed you so much." Aww. We always joked that we were glad she didn't yell, "Bob, who the hell is that?"
Oh my God. Aw. That's sad.
Number 9. My grandfather on his deathbed said, "They have no eyes." It still gives me chills.
Ew! What is no eyes? Ew! That's creepy.
scary.
I know. Oh my God. But then you don't know what they're just saying out of, you know what I mean?
Out of
like,
confusion?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I know.
Whew.
Number 10, my first hospice case. She was on morphine and started mock smoking. I don't know what that means.
That sounds like she's just kind of pretending like she has a cigarette.
Oh,
Right?
okay. She looked at me, took my hand, and said, "Please," in the most pleading voice I'd ever heard. I sat with her body until the coroner arrived. She had no friends or family. Only her lawyer showed up. I've only done one hospice case since.
Oh my God. Yeah, people who work in hospice are like angels.
Yeah.
Thank God for them.
All right, my next one. "Get home safe, little one." It wasn't what he said. He said the same thing to me any time I had him as a patient for the evening. It was how he said it. He gave me this look and pause like he knew. The DNRs, in my experience, always know when it's time. It's creepy.
Oh my God. I believe that though. I believe if you are gonna die, you know it.
Yeah, if it's not one of the,
Sudden-
unexpected,
Yeah.
sudden cases.
Right.
If you're old or,
Yeah.
or you have, cancer or
Right.
something that's a long, drawn out disease or
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
you
you
do.
know.
I think Mommy knew.
I think she decided.
Yeah.
I think because, and something that you guys don't know is, it was probably like 5 months before our mom passed away. Our grandmother committed suicide. Mm-hmm. And that day, our mom died. She completely gave up.
Yeah, I believe that
She-
totally. She did.
She was absolutely a broken woman after that. And I don't understand because our mom didn't do that. But unfortunately, I remember that day like it was yesterday. And I remember hearing about, because our grandmother put a gun up to her chin and pulled the trigger. Mm-hmm. And she planned it.
Yep.
She knew exactly what she was doing.
Yep.
She
She planned for who was going to find her.
She did.
That way.
She put down plastic. She called our uncle and said, "Hey, I need you to clean up a mess before Denise gets home," which is our aunt who lived with her at the time.
Yep.
So she did not want our Aunt Denise to find her like that.
Uh-huh.
She knew exactly what she was doing, and our mother died that day.
Yeah.
She completely gave up, and that is something that it's just so fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
And our family is so fucked up. You guys don't even know the half of it. It's horrible. That's why me and Jody have to stick together.
Yeah.
Because we are all that's left of sanity in our family.
That is definitely the truth.
So yeah, that's not fun to be in our family. So yeah.
All right. My next one. I was working on a crew boat that would scuttle us across an inlet to the logging camp with an old fisherman who ran the boat. One day I was getting on and said, "Good morning, Dave, you crusty old bastard," jokingly. The next day when we showed up for work, we found out he died in his sleep. I felt bad that those were my last words to him until I remembered his smile when he responded, "Go fuck yourself, halibut face, you bitch."
That's great.
All right, my next one. This is sad but also creepy, and I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it. Had a 20-year-old kid, gang member, who was dying of primary liver cancer. Super unusual, aggressive, and terminal. He was angry at the universe. His family was there to comfort him, but he literally spat in their faces. Every ounce of energy he had left was angry and mean and ugly. His mother would beg him to lighten up and accept Jesus into his heart. He would swing at her and tell her to F herself.
Oh my God.
The family remained beside in hopes he would chill out at the end. His last days, moments, he was angry. The family called me into the room and told me they thought he was going. He wasn't responding. Eyes glossy, skin cold. The end was imminent. His lovely mother, in her dearest attempt, whispered to him to go towards the light, to her Jesus. With his dying breath, he opened his eyes, looked at her, and said, "F your Jesus."
Oh my
A
God.
second or two later, he slowly turned his head to the left and got the most horrific look on his face, as if he was looking at something we couldn't see.
Oh my
And
God.
horrified, his face contorted, and he screamed with his last breath, eyes wide, "Oh shit, oh no," then made a guttural noise and promptly fell back into bed and died. Every family member was shaking and too frightened to speak, and I left the room and took 2 days off. I didn't care if I never found out what he saw.
Oh my God. That is so scary.
Yeah, it is. What was he seeing? Ooh, I don't want to know.
I don't either. I was just about to say that.
Okay, my next one. I had a cousin that had cancer and he died when he was a little kid. He once asked his mother why all these people visited and she said, "Because your cousins, aunts, and uncles love you very much and want you to get better." And he answered, "I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones that visit me at night."
Yeah. Oh my God. What the fuck?
Oh my gosh, I don't want to see any of this stuff. My father-in-law sat at his mother's bedside for days as she was dying. She was in and out of it and spent a lot of time in conversation with her parents and siblings, who were all long dead. One of the last intelligible things she said was, "Leave the gate open, Rodney, I'm coming."
Ooh, okay.
The next one, Steve Jobs smiled and said, oh wow," before he died. Probably saw some cool stuff.
Oh my God.
I'm an apprentice funeral director. We went to a nursing home on a removal, and as we were walking down the hall, one of the patients got antsy and opened the door to his room and saw us walking with the stretcher. "I'll see you next week, boys." And guess who we had to pick up the next week?
Oh my God.
DNR patient was on comfort care, was on a high dose of morphine and hallucinating. She would alternate between grasping for things not there and trying to climb out of bed. She was too unsteady to walk, so my job was to sit in the room and make sure she was safe. She tried to get up and went to ask her what she needed. She grabbed my arm and pulled me down towards her face and said very angrily, "Kill me."
Oh shit.
That was it.
Oh my God.
Last year, my grandfather started desperately pleading for his life with his German captors from World War II. The doctor present was smart and said in German, "You are free."
Oh.
Her catcher, "You are free." And then he died. I don't know what that word was.
Huh.
Catcher?
That's probably German, right?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Checked on a patient before the end of my shift, and she was in good spirits, had been joking with me the whole time. Her condition was tenuous, but she had been positive throughout. I asked her how she was doing, and she replied by singing, The old gray mare ain't what she used to be," and wished me a good night. I came in the next morning, and she had coded and died overnight.
So you don't fucking know if people know what they're talking about at that moment, or if they're just completely hallucinating because they're not in their right mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't know. That's so scary.
Yeah, you have no idea. It's weird.
Holy shit, that's scary.
All right, that's all I had.
Oh, okay. This week I did well, like when people die and the people that are investigating think it's cut and dry, and then there are weird things about these deaths that make them think otherwise. Cool. So my first one is an actor dies in an impossible autoerotic asphyxiation accident. Shut up. Asphyxiation. Say that 5 times fast.
That reminds me of the X-Files.
Why?
On one of the episodes, there's a guy that he can see how everyone's going to die.
Oh, yeah?
And he made a joke. Well, he said something about Mulder died from erotic asphyxiation. And Mulder's like, "What?" So it just reminded me of that. Anyway.
Okay, so it seems straightforward on the surface. Albert Decker was a quintessential Hollywood character actor with over 100 roles to his name, including in Sam Peckinpah's classic western, The Wild Bunch. Unfortunately for Decker, he never got to see the movie. On May 5th, 1968, the 62-year-old actor's fiancé found him dead in his bathroom, hanging by the neck from a leather belt, completely naked. The paraphernalia which was found suggested that Decker was really into bondage, and the coroner concluded that he had suffocated himself during an ill-advised attempt at autoerotic autoerotic asphyxiation. Open and shut, right? Then it got weird. It's not unheard of for famous actors to die in wacky choke wanking accidents. But Decker was also blindfolded, gagged, and cuffed with his wrists and ankles bound together. He was
He
practically...
couldn't do that to himself.
Exactly. He was practically hog-tied, which is a very difficult position to get into without help, or so we have heard. If that wasn't weird enough, Decker also had a hypodermic needle in each of his arms, and the words were written all over his body in lipstick, including slave and cocksucker. There were also drawings of a vagina on his belly. So did Decker die by accident? Could be, but after discovering the body, Decker's fiance realized that their $70,000 in cash and an expensive camera equipment was gone, suggesting that someone might have staged the scene to cover up a murder robbery. But there's even the problem with that because the bathroom door was locked from the inside, which only Decker himself could have done. And it's the classic locked in the room, naked, tied up, sadomasochistic strangled celebrity mystery.
Okay.
So there
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, no shit. So there's a bunch of, situations that he could not have done himself
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah, that's weird.
But they just ruled it as autoerotic asphyxiation, and that was that. Okay, so my next one is a man appears to be murdered by a UFO.
Okay.
In June of 1980, a 56-year-old miner named Zygmunt Adamski went out to do some shopping in the town of Tingley, England, and never returned. 5 days later, Adamski's body turned up in the middle of a coral yard 20 miles away in Todmorden. It was determined that he most likely died of a heart attack. That's not nearly as freaky as the last one, but Adamski's body was discovered on top of a pile of coral at approximately 3:45 p.m., so he must have been placed there in broad daylight without anyone noticing. Also, there were no signs of footprints on the coral or any coral dust on him himself, almost as if he had literally dropped there from the sky. Even though Adamski was missing for 5 days, he looked well fed and only had 1 day's worth of stubble on his face. But the creepiest part was that Adamski also had unexplained burns all over his head, neck, and shoulders. Some sort of gel-like ointment has been applied to his burns, but no one could figure out what it was. So what the hell happened? Aliens? According to Alan Gottfried, he was one of the policemen who found Adamski's body, and also a firm believer that a UFO once abducted him and fixed his genitalia, and he was convinced that the entire area was a hot spot for extraterrestrial activity. He actually became a little famous for his theories, and of course most people laughed at him, but they were easily silenced whenever Gottfried asked how they would explain what happened to Adamski. They were not saying it was aliens, they were just saying that if it's not, then the real story is probably even weirder. That's like a lot of questions. That there's no explanation at all for his death. Okay, next one. A couple dies during secret sexual liaison and no one can figure out what killed them. Dr. Gilbert Bogle was a married Australian physicist specializing in lasers and nether regions, and Margaret Chandler, the wife of one of his co-workers. On New Year's Eve 1962, Bogle and Chandler sneaked out to a local lover's lane because the link between sex and creepy supernatural murder hasn't been yet discovered. The next morning, Bogle and Chandler's partially undressed bodies were discovered on the banks of Lane Cove River, so they were killed by the jealous husband or wife, and then it got weird. Here's the thing, no one could figure out how the victims died. There weren't any visible or noticeable signs of foul play, but Bogle and Chandler did leave samplings of their vomit and excrement at the scene, indicating that the couple became violently ill before they died. Since they were at a party, the most logical explanation was that someone might have poisoned their drinks, but an autopsy found no trace of poison in their system. As for the obvious suspects, the lovers' spouses, both of them had airtight alibis. In 2006, a documentary suggested that Bogle and Chandler had a fatal reaction to a cloud of hydrogen sulfide gas bubbled up from the heavily polluted Lane Cove River. That sounds like logical theory, but some scientists still dismiss it since no one else in the surrounding area seems to suffer from negative effects from sulfide gas during that time period. That's probably for the best, but no one wants to be remembered as the person killed by a nasty river fart. So these people were cheating on their spouses, met up at this river, and died. And nobody knows why.
That's weird.
It is fucking weird. Okay, my next one. A man turns up dead with strange encrypted notes in his pocket. In June of 1999, the body of Ricky McCormick was discovered in a rural cornfield outside of St. Louis without a clear cause of death. Foul play was suspected, but McCormick had a history of chronic lung and heart problems, so it wasn't unfathomable that he would have died of natural causes. It was a stumper, but the cops remembered that they were dealing with a 41-year-old high school dropout and quickly wrote him off as a statistic. McCormick's death had been all but forgotten for 12 years when the friggin' FBI suddenly announced they were reopening the case, and it was all because of there were 2 handwritten notes that were found in McCormick's pocket and appear to be encrypted ciphers. Decoding them became a top priority for the FBI's cryptanalysis and racketeering records unit, and the same guys who cracked Nazi codes and have spent decades trying to break the Zodiac Killer cipher. And what were their conclusions? A quiet, we have no idea what this is. We know that what they were thinking. The guy was probably nuts. The notes were full of random gibberish. And in fact, according to McCormick's family, he had a very low IQ and was practically illiterate. But remember, the FBI disagreed. Experts who studied this stuff for a living and pretty certain that they had specific patterns and numbers and letters, and that the coded message has to be there in there somewhere. It was just the smartest people in the world had no idea what it might be, despite looking into them and McCormick's life from every possible angle. So he had these 2 written notes in his pocket, and they have no clue. No clue. Still to this day, what had happened and what those notes meant. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, a guy is beheaded in an apparent religious ritual. On February 8th, 1981, police responded to complaints about a transient in the sleeping bag in San Francisco's Golden Gate Park. The cops were about to rouse him, but it turned out the guy had a valid excuse for taking the siesta in the public park. His head was gone. A fingerprint check revealed that the victim was Leroy Carter, who had a history of criminal activity. Criminal activity. But nothing that would suggest that anyone would want to behead him, especially with Sleepy Hollow being so far away. Not only was Carter's head missing, but a chicken wing and 2 kernels of corn were put in its place.
I missed that. What?
I'm sorry. Okay. Not only was Carter's head missing, but a chicken wing and 2 kernels of corn were put in its place.
What? That doesn't fit.
Like a dick and balls? Because
you can't replace. That's not big enough.
Which and a box of A box containing more mutilated chicken parts was found nearby. This was clearly not your typical homicide, so the department assigned Sandy Gallant to the case because of her experience with occult crime. She guessed that Carter was a victim of Santeria, specifically the Palo Mayombe variety, which I don't know what that is. A centricate Caribbean African religion with a penchant for sacrificing chickens. This was great news, not for Carter obviously, but for the investigation, as Santeria customs dictates that human's head can be returned to its original location after 42 days, which is how long it takes for the murderer to extract the noggin's magical powers. So they thought he might have been sacrificed for Santeria.
Okay.
No one on the police force bought Gallant's theory on the account of its surrounding until Carter's head turned up in the Golden Gate Park exactly 42 days after the murder. So, yeah, that's very interesting. Unfortunately, because of the department's skepticism, nobody showed up at the park that day to catch the predators in action, and the killer got away scot-free to do God knows what with all the magic head powers he acquired. So, that's crazy. I mean, the fact that they kind of dismissed that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But okay, next one. A man is found dead in a bathtub after claiming a witch cursed him. So in April 1991, Seattle police burst into an apartment of Christopher Case after one of his friends said that she was worried about him. It turned out that her concerns were valid, as Case was found dead in his bathtub. The scene was unusual because Case was fully clothed and the bathtub was empty, and there was no signs of break-in or foul play, so the coroner determined that Case's death was likely caused by acute myocardosis, aka his heart stopped, but we don't know why. Upon closer inspection, it turned out that Case's apartment was a quite creepy place. It was filled with crucifixes, candles, and even lines of salt poured along the walls and the front porch. But this was easy to explain. Case genuinely believed that a curse had been placed on him by a witch after he refused to date her. When the police questioned Case's friend, they learned that during the trip to San Francisco, Case met a woman claiming to be a witch who developed romantic feelings for him, but after resisting her advances, the man claimed that unseen forces started tormenting him by cutting his fingers while he slept, and soon started feeling unsafe in his own home. No evidence was ever found to support Case's wild stories, and if you're an occult type person, you might assume the poor guy suffered from some sort of mental breakdown. However, that doesn't change the fact that Case was, by all accounts, a very healthy 35-year-old man who didn't drink, smoke, or do drugs, and no history of heart trouble. How do you explain a guy like that suddenly having a coronary? Okay, next one. The car crash victim with missing nipples. One morning in April 2003, United States Air Force Colonel Philip Shue left his Texas home for a seemingly ordinary workday, and 2 hours later died in a tragic traffic accident. What came next was even more tragic. According to the psychological autopsy report, Colonel Shue had been displaying erratic and paranoid behavior before his death, and their conclusion was that he plowed into a tree on purpose to take his own life. It might have been easier to believe that suicide ruling if two rather important items weren't missing from the scene of the accident: Colonel Shue's nipples, and someone had removed them before his death. Shue was also found with a 6-inch gash from his chest to his navel, as well as amputated fingers and earlobes, none of which happened during the crash. The investigators claim that Shue inflicted all of the injuries on himself, as a large amount of anesthetic was found in his system. The main hole in that theory was that Shue's wrists and ankles were wrapped in duct tape, and his fingerprints were not on the tape. See? What the fuck?
What?
The implication was that Shue was in the midst of being tortured somewhere, escaped, and then got into a fatal accident. Shu's ex-wife, Nancy Timpson, seemed to be the most likely suspect since she still retained a $1 million life insurance policy on him. The victim received an anonymous letter warning him that his ex-wife had planned to bump him off. And there wasn't enough evidence of foul play to convince prosecutors. They believe that Shu fabricated this letter himself. So if it wasn't that, then what the hell happened? The odds are strong you will never know. So he was in this traffic accident, supposedly, but there are so many circumstances that surrounded that didn't make sense. Like, missing nipples? That doesn't happen in a crash.
No.
You know, and... That's fucked up. So those were all the ones that I had this week.
I wanted to apologize to everyone because our last episode, Brandy decided to eat candy.
I did. It was bad.
And you could hear the crinkling of the candy wrappers throughout the whole episode.
That's not true. It was only when you were talking.
So... Anyway,
yeah, sorry, that's
we just wanted to apologize to everybody that was listening because it was very annoying. Okay, so time for the witty wrap up.
Yay. Witty wrap.
I just want you to know how annoying that was when I was editing.
God. Oh, I know. I know. I was editing it too.
I was like, oh my gosh, does she eat this throughout the whole thing?
No, it's just when you were talking.
It like went on forever.
Fucking Halloween candy. It was the Halloween candy's fault, not mine.
Okay. ER doctor. So what brings you here? Patient. An ambulance. What do you think?
Oh my God.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
A broken pencil.
A broken pencil who?
Never mind, it's pointless.
Oh my God.
When do you go at red and stop at green?
When do you go at red? I don't know.
When you're eating a watermelon.
Oh my gosh. I guess it's true.
My cat constantly looks at me like I asked her to give me a ride to the airport.
That's true.
It is so true. You have to sit there and think about it, though. You're like, wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. I got excited when my son joined the cross-country team. But then I learned they don't cross the country and are back home in a few hours.
Aw, that's a bummer.
What goes through towns, up hills, and down hills, but never moves?
What, a roller coaster?
The road.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Why did the librarian get kicked off the plane?
Why?
Because it was overbooked.
Aww.
I wonder how many miles I've scrolled with my thumb. I don't scroll with my thumb.
Well, yeah, me neither, but that's actually a really good question.
Yeah, it is. Because,
I bet
I mean, all day long, every day is what I do.
Yeah.
What travels around the world but stays in one corner?
A book?
A stamp.
Oh, that's great.
And this is my last one. What does a cloud wear under his raincoat?
What?
Thunderwear!
Oh my God.
That's my favorite one. Thunderwear. That's what I'm going to call my underwear from now on.
Oh, that's great. All right, well, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it so much. Email us your stories. We still want to hear them all the time. Any story. We don't care what it is. We just want to hear them. GhoulsNightOutPodcast@gmail.com. We will talk to you next week.
Later.
Bye.